right, so divisional round. I think the game that sticks. I mean, obviously, the game that sticks out the most has got to be Washington-Detroit, and not because Washington won, but the manner in which they won. Detroit, Jared Goff doing his best Sam Darnold impersonation. I know a lot of people were trying to hate on Ben Johnson for the game on Saturday night. I mean, look, the 2 interceptions, wide receivers were open. They were bad throws, right? He airmails it, and I can't think of who the receiver was on the pick 6. And then he had Williamson open in the end zone, and as Tom Brady said, he goes, look, the mistake he made was he should have thrown it to the other hash. He put too much air underneath it, allowed the defender to come back and get underneath it and pick it off. So, you had those are 2 plays right there that, and of course, with the very first one, with the first pick that turned into a pick 6, maybe they don't score on that, but at the very least, okay, maybe they punt it away. Who knows? But that changed. I mean, that changed the momentum, the trajectory.
Jared Goff gets his head knocked off.
Jared Goff nearly got decapitated on that play.
Teddy Bridgewater has to come in. I mean, it's just anytime you see a starter go out in a playoff game, it's very tough to imagine that team winning. Obviously, Teddy's out there for a couple plays. I'm like, man, Washington's going to run away with it. Then they do the trick play, and they score, and I'm like, I'm just like Tom Brady. I'm like, this feels like a video game. Like, they just ran a trick play to perfection, and Jameson Williams is walking in the end zone.
Yeah, he was.
And all of a sudden, we got a game. Goff comes back in, and this happened every time. Tolos and Fatties, let me know if you noticed this as well. Every time Tom Brady was like, you got to just lock in. If you're the Lions right here, you got to recalibrate. You can't listen to the outside noise. You got to lock in and be that killer mentality. Interception, Jared Goff. He did it again in the second half. He's like, this is the moment when you look up on the scoreboard, you're going against a wild card team. You're like, why are we down? We're the 1 seed, and the nerves start to get you. Jared Goff, you got to get the troops under lock. Jared Goff, 3rd interception of the night. Literally the next play after both of the speeches.
No, Jared Goff it was not, we know the knock on him. And again, this is not anything that's really all that profound. I mean, again, you put any quarterback under pressure, it's going to rattle them, but some just a little bit more than others, right? And some
3 interceptions, a fumble.
Yeah, but you had 5 turnovers for the night, right? I mean, if we look at
most of them were in the first half.
Most of them were in the first half, right? And you just could never get going in the 3rd or 4th quarter. You got to within a field goal, I think it was, in the 3rd quarter, but defensively they just couldn't hang, and Jayden Daniels kept making big throws, extended plays with his feet, which that was, I mean, the way Jayden Daniels was able to take control of that game. And the thing about Jayden Daniels, and you and I talked about this yesterday, is you don't necessarily have to you don't need quarterback designated runs for him to do what he does, right?
Nope.
I mean, I said this to you, I said this to Wolchuk. He kind of reminds me a little bit of like a faster Mahomes, in the sense that, look, Mahomes you're not going to run a designated run for either.
A Josh Allen, a Lamar, zone read.
Yeah, those guys, although
they're the first option.
Although, as Chiafalo pointed out today, they ran no designated runs for Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Again, and Todd Monken, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But the thing about Jayden Daniels is that, again, when you need when he needs to make a play, when the pocket's breaking down, this guy's going to find 6, 7, 8 yards, spin off a defender, pick up another 3 or 4, and it seemed like he did that time and time again. And you didn't think this was going to happen, but it just felt like the moment was too big for Detroit on Saturday night. And I was not expecting that to be the case.
Jayden Daniels has more wins, too, than negative plays in the postseason. That would be a sack, a fumble, or an interception.
Yeah.
He has one of those right there. Between a sack, fumble, or interception. In the entire postseason, when he has more wins than that. So that's kind of puts in perspective how he's been playing. And I think I sent you his next-gen stats because they were out of this world for a guy in his 2nd playoff game ever. It felt like Jayden Daniels could do no wrong. I'm going to get those numbers up for you. Here we go. Jayden Daniels. Oh, it went away. What'd you do with it, Fred?
I didn't do anything with it. What happened?
I was trying to find Jayden Daniels' next-gen stats, but seems to have left me.
You'll find it. I got faith in you.
Okay.
I got faith in you. By the way, the Bears are finalizing a deal to hire Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson as their new head coach. Not a huge shock there. I mean, I think for a while there we were maybe considering that, okay, was he going to go to the Raiders, which on one hand, it sort of made sense because, all right, yeah, maybe Tom Brady could talk him into it. But on the flip side of that, you and I asked the question, all right, well, if he does go to Vegas, who's their quarterback? I mean, he's not going there with the idea that, he's going to coach up Aiden O'Donnell or Gardner Minshew. So that was my only thing when it came to the the Raiders conversation was, all right, I mean, unless Tom Brady's, somehow coming out of retirement and we didn't know about it, the whole Raiders thing didn't make a lot of sense unless you had a, ironclad quarterback plan in place, which it sounds like they don't.
I want to get more to that in a second. Here's the stats I was looking for Jayden Daniels of what he did against the Lions in the most difficult passing situation. So versus the blitz, the Lions blitz, they blitzed 16 times.
Yeah, a lot.
12 times Jayden Daniels completed a pass for 191 yards,
balling,
a touchdown, and a +7 completion over expected. Over 2.5 seconds, 10 of 16, 172 yards, and a touchdown. Under pressure, 9 times. He completed 7 passes in those situations for 109 yards for a +17.6 completion over expected. Daniels was sacked 0 times. Jayden Daniels, 191 passing yards against the Lions blitz, is the second most in a game by a rookie since 2016 in the regular or postseason.
Damn.
Daniels recorded a 114.7 passer rating against the blitz during the regular season, the highest mark of a rookie since 2016. And then we'll end with this right here. The Lions defense did not generate a single pressure on Daniels with a 4-man pass rush across 17 dropbacks.
Good night.
When blitzing, however, the Lions did pressure Daniels 12 times on 20 blitzes, which would be a 60% rate, yet they failed to record a sack on any of those 12 pressures with extra rushers still coming home.
No, that defense was definitely compromised, and it felt like Saturday night, it just...
You're going to let your quarterback. You don't got a guy sitting in the pocket and pumpkin Darnold. You got a guy that's, as soon as the pocket ain't great, I'm out of there.
No, he's moving, and you got a guy that's got pocket presence, which is something that
He'll jump back, sideways, forward.
Well, then that's the thing,
and
right?
He doesn't just take off and run. I think sometimes
he'll extend the play with his. I mean, he's still looking to throw. I mean, he's not just tucking it and running it. Whereas with Sam Darnold, he just hangs in the pocket and hangs
and just thinks
hangs.
Someone's going to come wide open.
And he doesn't even throw the ball away. I mean, he just sits on the ball, and so no, you just had a Detroit line, and again, the offense did its thing. I mean, it really did.
Shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs, who there's no way you can't come across that.
Well, you could argue why you stopped throwing to him in the second half.
Top 5 running back. St. Brown was doing his thing. Laporta had a nice catch. The Lions guys were making plays. I thought it was going to be a shootout to the end. Goff, just every time they try to tie it up, turn the ball over.
Just wasn't his night. Just was not his night.